Thanks, I soon appreciate it. As mentioned, my name's Evan. I am an account executive here at CRM Dynamics and HSO company. And I'm going to jump into a little bit of a profile about who we are as a partner and explain a little bit about the Microsoft stack of products, essentially what I like to call it my why Microsoft spiel. So I'll go through a little bit about that. But to start out, excited to introduce that we are CRM Dynamics. We were acquired by HSO recently, incorporated into their larger ecosystem, and some of the specialties that we bring to the table as a Microsoft Dynamics Power Platform partner. We focus on a couple industries: professional services, financial services, nonprofit, local government, manufacturing, and retail and distribution. Not limited to those, but we have a wide range of experience in those industries. As I mentioned, we focus on power platforms, data and analytics, modern workplace, cloud infrastructure, and managed services. So we have around 30 years experience in the Microsoft ecosystem, around 1,300 employees worldwide. In Canada, we have about 70 employees plus. I think it's actually bigger than 70 now. We've won 23 Partner of the Year awards, and then as CRM Dynamics, the Canadian division, we've actually won, I believe it's 4 now of these awards ourselves, including the Impact Partner of the Year award for the Dynamics space, and we are in the top 1% of Microsoft partners worldwide. So that's just a little bit about us. As I mentioned, we're an Inner Circle award winner, which essentially means we're in the top 1% of partners worldwide. Microsoft leans on us for, advice on what they want to do with the platform. So where do we think it's going? What improvements do you want to see? And as I mentioned before, it's an honor that only 1% of Microsoft partners receive. And we are also an Impact Award winner. So this is another award that Microsoft gives to partners that have had the most impact with a project that they delivered. So Microsoft loves to reward partners that sell licenses. This award is given to a partner that is nominated by an actual customer saying, hey, here was the ROI we saw, et cetera, et cetera. And we actually won in 2019 and again in 2021. And this is for the Canadian division specifically. Now, why Microsoft? My favorite thing about Microsoft is the common data model. The Dataverse, I believe, is what they refer to it as now. Also, you may have heard the Common Data Service. Essentially, what it means is all your applications in the Microsoft stack are hosted in one location within Azure. So all your data exists in essentially one database on the back end. And the Common Data model allows data to flow within your organization freely. So, for example, if you're using Dynamics 365, Power Platform, so Power Apps, for example, with the People Accelerator, your Microsoft 365 stack, Power BI, they all pull from one common data source in the back end, which is very powerful, right? Because you don't need to integrate all these applications together, which is expensive, they're bulky, they're hard to maintain, and sometimes even require hardware infrastructure if you need to host some of that yourself as well. So Microsoft's trying to break down the barriers between applications by offering this common data service on the back end. So that's a little bit about why Microsoft. I'm actually going to turn it over to Satish now to he's going to go through a little bit about the product, introduce himself, and explain the People Accelerator and what it is. So Satish, please.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Satish Sronabas. I work as a cloud application solution architect with HSO. I am a Microsoft certified solution architect in the Dynamics and the Power Platform sphere. I have around 22 years of IT experience in the MS stack, and I've been with this platform in this version of Dynamics and Power Platform stack and mobility, a lot of mobility too, for the last over a decade now. So I'm going to go through the demonstration of our solution. This is the People Accelerator. As the name suggests, it is a framework that lets you, engage with your employees, the people, and it also gives other functionalities which would show how to engage in a project where a group of people and roles are put together. So it gives you an ability to manage projects, recruitment, and an overall, monitor employee and also employee burnout, prevent employee burnout, and prevent management of their skills and competencies and qualifications, certifications. So that's an overall view of what it is. It's a great HR/people management tool. So as you start, you come into the port for the product, you see a Power BI aspect of the integration of the Power Platform that Ethan talked about. So when you come into the dashboard, you see this is a Power BI. It is sitting inside inside the model-driven app, which is the Power app. And you can see there are a lot of displays showing a lot of people who are part of my team. I'm looking at their utilization. And you can also see a certain where a company can go in and set up a certain utilization factor, like, I want my employees to only work 6 hours to be productive. And, so you can adjust this. And on a quick glance, the report gives you a snapshot of what it's doing, which are the individuals who are overtasked for that period of time, may experience some burnout, which lets you give you like a quick visual representation of what is going on with your organization in that quarter. You can even increase it and say, let's say you're going into an emergency situation where you want to say, I'm going to put a certain number of people on a like a 15-hour scale. Then, how many available resources are there? So these are all grouped under something called a PERSTAT, a personal statistics. And it comes from the source, it's a combination of, if a person has a leave request pending, if it's what are the jobs that are assigned, maybe he's in training, maybe he has a doctor appointment, a personal appointment that he blocks off in his calendar. So those kind of metrics are put together to give like a quick snapshot of, what is going on with an individual in a team. And that's grouped under this personal statistic. And another aspect of it is roles. As every HR knows, like, for a project, now we're going to do look by project. There are various projects. So you can go through one of those initiatives and you see that for this initiative, when this was set up, these are the requirements. I mean, we are using IT group here as a work group, like an IT company, but this could be customized for your own setup and your own company, and what are those role requirements and qualifications and training. So for this project, when the project was put together, the person who's in charge of this is said that, to execute the project, these are the capabilities and roles that needs to be available for this execution. So with that, it gives you an aspect of all the people. Now here, when you choose different operations, you would see that, it will highlight, and it has a capability to go into a solution architect, for example, in our case. And these are the people who are assigned here. And it also categorizes these people's roles and skill in 3 different buckets. One is a skill fit. Here, of course, everybody's a solution architect, so it pretty much says, all these people can execute this. But it also gives you a level fit, because when you're doing team building, one of the aspects is you want at different levels. There might be a task for the medium, small, large. So those kind of scales can be set. And of course, the time, as you can see, even the first chart, Andrew here for this example is already overtasked, so he has no time fit. So when you're doing this kind of information analysis, it gives you enough knowledge into whether it's a good time fit or it's a good level fit, which is the level of knowledge that is needed for this kind of project, and also a skill fit. So those informations are exposed via this Power BI dashboard that is reading information, of course, from this application. And also, that's the third one. This is the one I like, is the competencies. What is a competency here is for certain groups of activities, you would need certain skill sets, and these skill sets are classified. Like if you're doing an international project and you need a specific language, and you say, I want to find somebody in this group, and it tells you like what are those specific groups we're talking about, and it'll show you, if you want to go look at it, it says, Ishwar Prakash has his proficiency in Tamil, for example. So with this, you are able to analyze and do better people management aspects of it. One of the other aspects of HR, which is also evolution, right? People evolve through their job over time. And as they go through the progression of gaining more skills via training, via, they go take an examination, get certified, or they've picked up a new skill set. So as they grow up in this company, you would be able to see as they add it, as a person adds this to their profile, that these competencies grow up, and you can see these people's skills up, the skill up of your people. When they upskill, you have more individuals, which means when there is a better utilization. The older model of, as you scale up, you have to get another job, you have to apply for another job, or, that is the only way, because you are the only one who knows, that the user, the employee is the only one who knows that he has added all this new skill set. Now he wants to use it. So one of the big advantages of this solution is, as they add this information in, this gets, risen up to the top, and you are able to analyze and say, okay, this individual is really performing and he wants to move on, and you can give him an opportunity, which brings employee satisfaction into the whole sphere of it. So this, lets you manage different scenarios, or if you have a certain new skill set show up on a project, on a company, or you need something, you can at least go here and look at it. Do we have anybody who has this capability? So these are the, it's a small snapshot of what it does. And it also has a lot of other capabilities from an HR aspect. Is one of the aspect is you can do job positioning, and where you can open a position for hiring, you can post the job, and then an external person can interact with your job application and goes through. For this example, I have David, and he's responded to a solution architect job, and then you can go through the life cycle where he's interviewed, his process is an interview process, offer, all the tracking, all the activities, as you can see, associated, it's how long it's been active. Then you can progress through the chain, do interviews, and interview has its own capability to collect a lot of statistics. And that is another aspect of the solution that collects data. Let's just say as an HR, you're running a lot of recruiting events. So there is a capability where this can be configured to run events, and you can say, I want to run a booth in the Microsoft Insight. I've got so many applications, and then it can go through this workflow that would go through the filtering process. And then if you're interested, you can have an interview and go ahead and hire the person. Also, now I talked a little bit about work groups. So what are work groups is pretty much projects that can be managed. This can be a small project as setting up a booth at a conference, or it could be a specific project that has certain milestones. And I showed you in that Power BI report one part of the work group, but it also has roles. We talked about, what are the roles, what is the fit, what is the skill fit, what is the level fit. So those kind of information is tracked as part of the system. And when you create a work group, pretty much we showed that it needs a certain milestone. It also has certain skills that are required, and then it does the matching of skills. If you go back to the dashboard, let me show you that. Let's go. Okay, so where here in the roles, we looked at that like, oh, this is a work group, these are the people, and I want to find a project manager. So these people are available, these are my employees, and there's a level fit and a time fit. Okay, so this example, like Michelle has the skills and she has the time. And then you have to decide if a skill fit of 50% is sufficient. So this is a way to manage your HR challenges and HR activities. Now, one of the aspect of Power Platform is its capability to integrate with various environments. So we'll talk about it in a second. So what is the user experience like? This is for the HR person who's in the system, in the solution. But if you're, say, for example, Michelle Sanchez, like how would she experience this? For a user, we have small modular apps. One of the key aspects of the Canvas app or the Power Platform is not a big monolith application app that you download and it does everything. Now, the whole concept is each app is its own function. So you would only share an app to a different person on what their function is and what they need to do. Like we collect timesheets, for example, and that's what we're using for those time statistics on the report. Like I can go look at my profile, and here I can see that who I work for and my employment history, education, and also there's the availability to add information like emergency contact, address. So it's a personal. This would be part of your employee profile. Now the next is, for example, competencies. We talked about that as skills and certifications. So a user need not come into the main application, but you can use this mobile phone or any kind of device that's from iOS or Android or any even, of course, Microsoft, and download one of these apps. And what their goal would be is they can update their own profile. They could say, hey, I did, I got my certification, I got qualified, I did a language, I went and learned a language now. So they can add this information, which gets filtered into our report here and the Power BI, and then it uses that information to predict some of these fits. And you can have more specialized as, what are the projects we are working on, just the work groups that we talked about, and you can do time entry and time management. So it depends on a work group. You might have a certain number of, consultants, and they need to be logging their time on a timesheet. So that you can use this timesheet engine for. So it goes through the HR approval process and all that. Even leave. So by time, let's say I want to put in some a leave, a medical day or a leave taken. You can submit a user would submit the request, and it will show up here for approval, where an HR person would review the request from a contact, and he would say, is it approved? Or if it's kind of a special leave that they want a maternity leave for so many weeks and it has to go through, or family leave. So those kind of, or a training. So those kind of personal information, they just go to this app, and they would be able to enter all this information into that. Now, let's talk about, this is just a little drop of what the platform and the solution can do. Now, because it's Power Platform, as even described, we have this extendable connectivity to different platforms. Let's say you have Workday, or maybe you have HSO Cloud, like HR Cloud. It's another example. These are like products that are there, like 300 products. So I'm just going to name a few, and even Azure. So if you have like a mature development and topography where you're in Azure, you have all these other products, and you want to integrate this, there is native integrity to over 300 connectors. And I want to mention Azure HR Cloud and Workday. I want to give some examples. So let's say you finish your job position, you've hired the person, and you're kicking off. There could be a check. There is another solution, like a checklist capability, where you can onboard and offboard people. So let's say you're going to hire somebody, and they're going to start on next week, and you set it up saying, next week on the 10th of this next month, I want this person to be fully turned on. We should be able to log in. So this will kick off an automated process. So on the 10th morning, say at 12 a.m., 12:01, for example, it will run this job that would go talk to Workday. It'll go to Azure and it'll create an account. Maybe you want to set up an Outlook, put all this information together, and when the person joined, he gives you a personal email, and it automatically shoots them an email with, hey, this is welcome to the company. This is your first day, and here's your login. And these were created automatically from here. Those capabilities do exist, so you don't have to engage your IT department if they're very taxed to saying, hey, by the 10th, I need the account. Or if you hire a consultant for a gap and in solution, and you need some consultant to come in tomorrow and start working, and you as an HR gets a request from the manager, and the manager could, you can turn the person on, but they have to wait on IT to turn this person physically on into the network. So those could be automated because natively we have a connectivity to Azure. We have connectivity to any external software like this. There's around 300 software natively connects, and we could do turn them on and Workday, set up as payroll detection and all that. So those capabilities do exist in this platform. And hopefully I've given you like a little snapshot of, you see your little piece of organization, and also a lot of capabilities that exist in this environment. Even if you're looking for analytics, like, data lake and all that, natively, I just want to say that it natively integrates with this environment, with this platform, with the Dataverse. So you have a lot more extensibility and a capability to go into AI and virtual agents and those kind of engagement with your customer. And those could be drawn off this platform. So this is just a little snapshot. I'm sure this has given you some questions. If you have any questions, you can get in touch with us, and we would be glad to, go over this product much more in detail, and maybe give you a better, closer demo if you would like. And with that, have a great day, and thank you.